So this week marks our 2-year anniversary with our Travato van.
Well, 2 years ago, we sold our big fifth wheel and we downsized to a Winnebago Travato 59K. A lot of times we make decisions that support the phase of our life that we're in right now and the things we love to do. And at that time, we just got a yearning to travel and to see more, didn't we?
Right.
But we had questions, and if you're thinking about living in a van, we're betting you probably have questions too. So instead of telling you all the good and the bad things about the van, we thought we would answer 2 very pressing and important questions.
How has it changed our lives, or how has it changed the way we travel?
And if we had to make the decision again, is that the decision we would make? So how's it changed our lives? We have a lot less room for a lot less stuff.
With a lot less stress.
Traveling is stressful, especially when you have a big RV. And I handle it a little better than Lynn does. It really stresses her out and it makes her not enjoy the destination as much as we should.
Well, I mean, it doesn't let me enjoy the journey of getting there also.
Right.
So it's so stressful getting somewhere. Sometimes I don't enjoy it as much as I should.
So nimble has become our new normal. Nimble means we can go anywhere we want to go, park anywhere we want to park, and we can see more. We're happier because of that, and we focus more on what's outside of the van instead of what's inside of the RV. So that new normal has meant that we've traveled more, not just to a few places, but our Travato van has taken us as far east and as far west and as far south and as far north as you can go on this continent. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
In 2 years. In those 24 months, we've been together in that van for 18 of those 24 months. And we still like each other.
We do. It actually has made us a lot closer.
So if you're worried that that small space is going to be a detriment to your relationship, well, if you have a good relationship to begin with, we think it will make your relationship better. If you've got a bad relationship to begin with, I don't think I'd want to be crawling inside of a van with somebody I was arguing with all the time.
Right.
We always tell people that if you're married, you probably love your spouse. And you can love each other but not like each other. To live in a van 18 out of 24 months.
You gotta like each other.
You do, a lot.
The van is not perfect by no means. We have made several modifications that has helped us live in the van for long periods of time.
Those mods, we were sitting inside today trying to decide what's our favorite mod that we've done. You'd think it might be the tooling on top or the fact that we took the microwave out and made room for filtered water. What is your favorite mod that we've made?
Well, I think recently my favorite mod is the screen door.
It makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It does. And another one that I really like is taking the doors out of the bathroom and just put the curtain there, because it's so much easier when you're going to the bathroom and you're in a parking lot somewhere just to close that curtain. I really like that.
And many of you have asked us about the shelf that we put over the door that's a wooden shelf instead of one of the little bathroom shelves. And that actually has turned out to be a pretty cool mod too. If you want to see a video about all the mods, just let us know in the comments and we'll put that on the list to make in the future. If we could go back 2 years and talk to 2 years younger me and you, would we tell that couple to buy a Travato the day we bought the Travato?
Well, for the way I feel is that for that time in our life and the way that we wanted to travel, yes, I would go back and buy the Travato, because we wanted to be able to be more adventurous and have more freedom from stopping from place to place.
So we would go back and make that decision again. It doesn't mean that if we buy something else when that time in our life happens that it will be another Travato. We don't want to lead anyone to believe that, because that may not be the case. What we'll do is sit down and look at what's most important to us at the time. That may be having something that's got 2 or 3 beds that we can take grandchildren with us. Or it may be buying something that's 4-wheel drive that'll let us go off-road and stay off the grid for several months at a time.
Yeah.
These 2 years have been...
the best 2 years.
They have. So there you have it, our 2-year anniversary with our van. In today's Q&A section, we're going to answer 2 of the questions that we get asked the most. What in the world is that new shelf that you created? And tell us about your curtain. All right, first the shelf. So this shelf is made from a 4-foot section of 1x12 pine that I purchased at Lowe's. This is painted black because Lynn thought it would look good black. We put a piece of molding here to hold the baskets in place, and the same molding went underneath the shelf to hold the shelf in place. And these are screwed to the wall here, and the shelf is screwed there. One of the things we were worried about was squeaking because Lynn hates noise. So we put a little rubber piece on top of the molding and set the shelf on that before I screwed it in place. It's hard to see, but the 4-foot shelf doesn't go far enough over on the 59K to let it sit up here, which is what I really hoped would happen. But I cut the molding to be a little longer than it needed to be, and that's what's actually holding this side up. The back side is being held up by 4 screws that actually go in the same holes that the old screen support went in. And I'm not sure it's my favorite mod, but when I asked Lynn this morning, she said it's her favorite mod because we can put so much up there. Baskets full of linen. And our everyday, we might need this kind of stuff that you need to grab right before you go out the door. And the shelf is so strong now that we don't worry about it being there. It's a good addition. Building this shelf is really simple. You're going to cut 1 piece of wood, 2 pieces of molding, and that's pretty much it. You will have to trim out in this section right here for the curve in the door. Other than that, that's the only tricky thing. If you need help, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer anything that you want to ask in the future. Thanks for your questions about this. We love it. So Meemaw's Matters, ask a question. Owen, how do you keep your griddle so clean? I didn't know I did. I do keep oil on it. You need to do that every time whenever you finish cooking. And I do have one secret weapon. The little spatula that comes with them they're just way too flimsy. Here's what I use. You may recognize it as a Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y, paint scraper and can and roller tool. It's a painter's tool. It's really stiff, and it has a very sharp edge, and it works really well. Let me show you. The griddle's now heating up so I can do another cook, but I wanted to show you there's still some things on here, and this thing just works great for getting anything off. So this is not a cooking grade spatula. So one of the things you have to do to take care of it is every now and then you have to sand it off, and then you also need to spray it with oil as well and leave oil on it whenever you store it. That's about all you have to do. So I usually use one regular Blackstone spatula and this guy, and that's it. That's how you keep it clean. The next question I want to answer is about our curtain that we put between our living area and our driving area. Man, this was one of the best things we've added. It is so easy to use. It keeps it cooler or warmer, and it's so fast just to be able to pull in somewhere, close the curtain, take a nap, or go to bed. Instead of me showing you how we did this, my friend Nick Riebe sent me a video a long time ago about how he did this, and I'm going to show that now for you.
Hey everybody, this is Nick, aka Black Pearl Travato, coming to you live from within Black Pearl Travato. I want to thank Owen, Lynn, and Maggie for having me as a guest in their video, and right now, let's talk about this cab curtain setup. I quickly want to show you the cab curtain setup that I use. So the curtain rod itself came from Amazon, comes with the brackets that mount to the factory screw holes, so you don't need to drill any new holes. A curtain of your liking can then attach to it via these little alligator clips, and they slide inside the curtain rod track. So I like the curtain versus the cab shades because it's so much easier to open and close the curtain than to set up and take down those cab shades whenever you need some privacy. This also allows separation of space between the cab and your main living area for heating and cooling purposes.
If you didn't already know it, which you probably do, Nick is the founder of Travato Base Camp on Facebook. Lynn and I are members there, and we love being part of that group. And you'll learn a lot by just being there. And you'll be stretched to go further than you ever have before. Thanks, Nick, for taking the time to show everybody here how you made your curtain. We both know that we love it, and we know that you love it too. We miss you, buddy. That ends this week's Q&A. Everything you need to take advantage of this is in the description with a link to our Amazon store on the inside items section. If you've got a question you'd like for us to answer, just leave it in the comments below and we'll do our best to get to it in the coming weeks. Thanks for all the questions and for being part of our journey. Griddle me this. Can you make cinnamon rolls on a griddle? Our granddaughter Carrie loves these things, and when she comes to stay with us, a lot of times we'll prepare them. I wanted to see if I can make them on the griddle. I think there's a 50-50 chance that this is going to turn out great, and there's a 50-50 chance that this is going to be a flop. So to do this, you're going to need a few things. You need your favorite cinnamon rolls. From experiments that I've done, the thinner the rolls are, the better they're going to turn out on here. You need a small baker's rack. You need your thing, and you need some kind of cover to put over it to make it bake from the top. We got this 99-cent little aluminum baking basket thing from Walmart, and I think it's going to work, but we'll see. You'll need some kind of spray. Since this is a dessert, we're going to use butter flavor because butter is awesome. And you'll need some way to make sure the griddle is not too hot. I use this little infrared thermometer to figure out how hot the griddle is. So, as I've told you many times before, the middle of the griddle is the hottest. It's at 435, 441, but along the sides, it's 310, 340, 311, and on this side, it actually gets down into the 200s in this back corner. So because of that, we're going to target cooking these on this very back corner. Hate when things stick, so first step is just to spray this off really well. We're going to put it on this back corner. I don't know how they do this, but on the top of these rolls, they have all the sugar and cinnamon. You don't want that to touch the griddle for sure, because trust me, I know it'll burn. So we're going to place them on the baker's rack. We're going to put a little butter spray on the top. This goes over top of it to let it bake for a while. The instructions say that it's going to bake for 13 to 17 minutes at 375. We're a little less than that, but the griddle is really hot and it's very concentrated heat. So I'm going to shoot for about 10 minutes and then we'll check them. 10 minutes in, and this is what they're looking like. Starting to resemble cinnamon rolls. Ha! But we're going to add another 4 minutes to the timer. So we'll check back again in 4 or 5 minutes and show you what they look like then. If you're like me, spreading the container of the icing onto the cinnamon rolls is always a hard thing. I'm going to try to melt it a little bit today by placing it on top of the little baking area. You may be asking yourself, why are we not baking these in the convection oven that came with the Travato? Well, we took that out. We needed the storage more than we needed the microwave and the convection oven. And another reason, I just love a challenge as to what I can make on this griddle. It's not so much about how it turns out or how hard it is or how much time it kills, because sometimes when you're camping, all you have is time anyway. It's about the challenge of figuring out what you can actually cook on a 17-inch little griddle like this.
They're getting a little done on the bottom.
Yeah, they are. Okay, turns out I probably should have taken these off at about 12 minutes. They're starting to resemble hockey pucks. Right now, we're going to try to eat these, but it's going to be one of those, like, you know, peel off the bottom and eat the top kind of deals. But, oh well. So it turns out I don't know how to make cinnamon buns on the griddle. but I do know how to make hockey pucks. They actually don't look bad once you put the icing on. And I bet, unless we break a tooth, this is going to be a semi-success because we're going to eat breakfast. If you make them and you know how to make them better than this, let me know. I really want to be able to make these for my granddaughters, but I just don't think it's going to work on the griddle for me unless I find a better way. That wraps up this week's Meet Me at the Griddle section. Maybe next week's will be better. We'll do another one next week and we'll share something. Hopefully it'll look better and taste better, but we're going to eat these now, and we appreciate you being with us every week. Okay, so this is one of those things where I misspoke. I said they look like hockey pucks, and they are a little done on the bottom, and I should have taken them off at about 11 to 12 minutes, but they're awesome. I changed my mind. They're actually really awesome. This is the way you can do it, and it worked out perfectly. So I don't know, I misspoke. They look like they're a little hard on the bottom. So you've heard the old adage, don't judge a book by its cover. That's kind of the way these cinnamon rolls turned out. They didn't look like something you want to take to the prom, but man, they were awesome.
It always amazes us at the friends that we meet while we're camping, and it seems like we have a very strong connection to a lot of those people.
10 years ago, we took our granddaughter to Myrtle Beach in our camper, and we parked right beside of a young family with 3 little girls. Those 3 little girls quickly became 4 little girls, and Mike and Amy quickly became very close friends during that week that we spent.
We did everything together with those little girls.
And it was a joy. Yesterday, we learned that we lost that friend. He was 50 years old, and he passed away just this past week.
And he was probably one of the best dads that I've ever seen around his children.
We keep telling folks that life is short and life is precious, and you never know. You don't know all the trials and the suffering and the worry that's going on with the person.
Right. And the song that Owen's playing in the background of this memorial to Father's Day, it kind of states that so much pressure on a man to provide for their families. And you don't really know.
To keep being a good dad. It's hard.
It is hard.
If you're a dad, happy Father's Day. I'm a father to Maggie, to 3 children, and to 5 grandchildren. And it's a wonderful, challenging, rewarding life to live, to be a dad. You know, there's a saying that when you're 13 years old, your dad's the dumbest guy in the world. And then when you turn 21, he becomes really smart again. That happened to me when I was probably 50, and things got really tough and things were hard. And I realized that things were probably hard on my dad at the same time in life too. And we'll end this episode by taking you along with us in our new lightweight kayaks as we go out on Lake Norman and see some of the most beautiful wildlife we've seen in a while as we sneak up on a heron and osprey.
We thank you for being part of our journey, and see you next week.
I find it hard to understand why, Lord, oh why there's so much pressure on a man. I didn't know then, but I know now. Wish I could go back somehow. I'd make it easier on the man, let him know I understand. Why, Lord, oh why I find it hard to understand. Why, Lord, oh why so much pressure on a man. I got my own place mouths to feed. I come home tired, I come home beat. I see those smiles as they run to me. Bet he felt the same, and I finally see why, Lord, oh why find it hard to understand. Why, Lord, oh why there's so much pressure on a man. Why, Lord, oh why I find it hard to understand. Why, Lord, oh why there's so much pressure on a man.
You're not singing. Sing louder.
Mama, little baby, love shouting, shouting. Little baby, love shouting.